Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renee Novak at blessedbycards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I'm here today with another Make It Monday tutorial. Today, we're going to use one of the new sets in the January to June mini catalog, Flowing Flowers, and a few of the other sets that are in the annual catalog to create 4 cards. So today's Make It Monday is a one-sheet wonder. I created this template that I have cut designer series paper out of the 6x6, and the paper I'm using today is part of the celebrations, and it's called Daffodil Afternoon. So you can get the paper that I'm using today free with a $50 order. So if you don't have a demonstrator and you would like to order from me, I'd be happy to service you. Just hop on over to my blog at blessedbycards.com. So let's get started with this template. It is a 6x6. And the first cut you're going to make is in half. So I have the pieces cut here from another sheet of paper. And the first cut you're going to create is, like I said, exactly in half. And I'm going to lay these pieces out here so that you can see them. Okay, so the first cut you're going to make is directly in half, and then you're going to have 2 pieces that measure 3x6. So you're going to, for the first one, you're going to cut that 3x4, and then you're going to cut 1 inch and 1 inch. So that will give you 2 pieces that measure 1x3 and 1 piece that measures 3x4 for the first half. And then the second one, you're going to have to cut it at 5 to give you a piece that measures 3x5, and then you'll have a 1 inch piece left over. And then that 5 you're going to want to cut on the diagonal so that you can split that apart, and we can use that for our card making today. Now, all of these measurements, all of the supplies, and the PDF download of the template is available on my blog at blessedbycards.com. So let's get started with those cards. So the first card is going to be using piece A on the template, and that's the one that measures 3x4. So I went ahead and I mounted this piece of designer series paper 3x4 onto a mint macaron and to a flirty flamingo. So this is 3x4 for the designer, 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I took a piece of mint macaron and just cut it in half to create our card. And now we're just going to put a little bit of snail and make this card come together. So I'm just going to add this panel onto the left side. And then I pre-stamped using the Simply Succulents, the thanks from that. And I stamped an evergreen, evening evergreen, and I just put a few Stampin' Dimensionals on the back so that we can pop this greeting right on top of our card. So this is the first card using piece A, and I'm just going to stick that right down there, and that is how simple and easy the first card comes together. Okay, so the second and the third card, we're going to use the diagonal pieces. And so for the first one, I've already created it for you, and I want to show you how to add a little bit of detail behind without making a full layer on that diagonal. So I added some piece of evergreen, evening evergreen, onto the designer series paper. And then this particular die is from the Happy Hippos. And I cut the white, and then I cut the next size up. It was a little bit too big for me, so I just took my paper snips and cut it down to make a slight border on there. And that's how I got that. I used Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up, and that's how simple card number 2 comes together. And like I said, I want to show you how to add that little bit of color to the back of your diagonal. So for our other piece of diagonal, I just have a strip that measures 1 by 6, a little bit longer than your piece. And when you cut that piece on the diagonal, you're going to get a 3 inside and a 5 inside. So I took a piece of Bumblebee and I just adhered it to the back. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly for this diagonal. And I did it on the straight edge. It was easier for me to get that look that I wanted. And so I'm just going to kind of line it up here at the top. And then just put that straight down like that. Going to grab my paper snips, and there's a little piece this here that I'm going to trim off. And then down here, what you want to do is you want to cut it just on the diagonal. And again, on this side, you want to cut it on the diagonal. So you just bring your snips up and cut it right along that existing designer series paper. And that gives you a little border, and this is Bumblebee. And I'm going to add this to a basic gray card. But before I do that, I have the Stamparatus. And I want to take my Evening Evergreen ink. And I have my stamps already pre-positioned, and the stamps I'm using are from Biggest Wish. And I'm just going to sauce those up in Evening Evergreen ink. And then I'm just going to layer that right with my Stamparatus on, give it a little massage on my white panel that measures 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more on my Happy. Get just a little bit more sauce on that A and that P. And that's the beautiful thing about the Stamparatus. You can just get it as dark as you want. And you can just keep stamping if you want a really dark image. So let's just get a little bit more on the birthday. And there we have it. Okay, so I'm going to take that piece off of my Stamparatus, set that aside. And now I'm going to bring in the piece that I just created with you. And then we're going to layer that right on here. So then it's going to go right on here. So let's put the white down first. And I'm just going to, ooh, good thing I'm covering that up. I got a little smudge. Okay. Then I'm going to just put some adhesive on this piece that we just created with a little bit of the background. And I'm just going to, you can decide if you want to put that all the way over, or if you just want it to be covering the white. I think I'm just going to have it covering the white. No, I think I'm maybe half and half. Let's do half and half. A little bit of the gray showing and a little bit of the white showing. There. And that is pretty much how easy that card came together. Now the last card is using pieces D, and those are those 1-inch pieces. And what I did was I mounted those 1-inch on top of 3 pieces of Daffodil Delight that measured 1 1/8 by 3 1/8. And then I put the whole thing on a piece of Evening Evergreen. And then this Just a Note is from the set we're using today, that Flowing Flowers. And I mounted it on some Evening Evergreen, and that is used, the white is cropped out with the stitched rectangles. So now I'm just going to add some adhesive to our panel. I'm going to add that right down on our Daffodil Delight. And then we're going to do that same thing to our greeting. Just going to stick that right on the front for a cute little just the note. And like I said, this paper is the Daffodil Afternoon. It's from Celebrations, and that's going on right now. So for every $50 you spend, you can earn a free product, and this is one of the products you can earn for free. So that is the Make It Monday today, and here's the template. You can make 4 cards using this template, and again, I will have that on my blog at blessedbycards.com for you to download. And here's that last card we did. Here's one of the diagonals. Here's the other diagonal going the totally opposite way, giving you a completely different look. And then the last card, which is the 3x4 piece. So thanks for watching. I'm glad you joined me today. Subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. Hope you will join me next Monday for another Make It Monday tutorial. Until then, be blessed.